welcome back. Time for our Capitol Report with Pat McGuigan of CapitolBeatOK.com. Pat, you had a commentary this week that encourages people to look first to their elected officials of the state and not the Supreme Court regarding income tax cuts. Give us a little insight into this.
Yeah, one of the few news segments in America not discussing Chris Christie this
Right.
weekend will be you and me. We're going to talk about this because I don't want to be a smarty pants, but I'm wondering, why did the state legislature, in its wisdom, late in the process of considering a state income tax, add to the income tax issue coverage of state capital repairs to the building, or vice versa? I don't remember which bill was the one that had originally had the capital repairs. Regardless, why did they add that? We have a single subject rule, which requires that legislation be, even if it's broad and covering a lot of things, that it be one basic issue, like was done with workers' comp successfully. Instead, they mix these two issues. It reminds me of, though a bit of a World War I analogy, in the old German phrase Sturm und Drang, which means storm and stress. Incredible commitment of resources and a lot of time and energy for yards of turf. I'm using the trench warfare analogy, which warfare and politics, you got to be careful, but the point is they devoted a lot of energy to 0.25% income tax reduction a year after they had said, the agenda was to eventually eliminate the state income tax. So you devote a lot of energy, you put two things together, the things get slapped down.
Well, let's talk about continuing the same subject. You also filed a report titled, which is better, constitutional or unconstitutional? Share some more of this.
Yeah, I have this image of my friend Alex Cameron sitting in the middle chair with kids on each side in one of those AT&T advertisements or a knockoff of it, saying to the kids, which is better, constitutional or unconstitutional? And the kids all yell, constitutional. And standing in the background are the justices of the Oklahoma Supreme Court nodding their heads like this. This is not confusing. And frankly, there was scuttlebutt in the halls of the Capitol after the income tax passed with the capital repairs added in, that maybe this was a poison pill. In other words, to again explain the analogy, maybe this was deliberate on somebody's part to make sure there wouldn't be, in the long run, a tax cut. Now, agree or disagree with the way our court, state court, has defined single subject. That's a good debate to have, and you could be critical of some of the court's decisions. However, they've been pretty clear, and this ruling on the income tax cut was 7-0 with a Frank Keating appointee, James Winchester. I don't directly relate politics and judicial philosophy. I think they are related but separate. But they are related. So, Keating's appointee wrote a unanimous 7-0 decision for the state Supreme Court that all the more liberal justices joined. So it's not confusing. Again, back to the analogy of the AT&T advertisement. And I want to add that my friend Andy Spirlopoulos, Oklahoma City University professor and a adjunct, a Friedman scholar at the Oklahoma Council of Public Affairs, has been very clear on this. He said, this can be done cleanly now. So the question is, what's the real intention of the legislature and the governor? If they intend to reduce income taxes on the taxpayers of Oklahoma, they can now do so in a clean way with one bill that relates to one subject.
It really does make you wonder what their intention was.
That's right.
All right, you saw a study of state-level debt in all 50 states. Enlighten us as to where Oklahoma stands.
Well, it's a group called State Budget Solutions, and I want to readily admit that they're perhaps even more alarmist than Pat McGuigan when it comes to public debt. They put a very high figure on the total of debt. Some of it, they say, is hidden. $44 billion in state government debt. $41 billion of that related to the pension systems. Now, our government says it's only $11 billion, but they admit that's a problem. So whether it's $11 billion or $41 billion, that's a matter of degree, not of kind. There's debt, and the reason you have Andrew Cuomo of New York now saying sensible things about pension debt is that my old friend Joe Sobran, who's passed away now, but he was, well, they call him a paleo-conservative, he was so hard right, and he used to explain the conservative law of inadequate paranoia. Meaning that things are usually going to be worse than you're saying, even in your conservative commentaries or analyses, and I think that may be the case here. So whether the state's right or State Budget Solutions is right, we have a problem and we need to address it.
All right, well, you can read more about these and other topics at CapitolBeatOK.com. For Pat McGuigan, I'm Alex Cameron. Have a great day.